Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. This is ahead of the FOMC statement later on this afternoon. The federal interest rate decision will be released as well, 1 o'clock p.m. Central. That will give us a new FOMC key level to work with. The last one we got here was 428, April 28th, and you can see it developed here. Price pulled back off of it, came back to it, away from it, back to it, through it, held as support, and has been away from it since. Each of these have done very similar over the last several months. For example, here is the December FOMC key level right there. It comes down and rallies through it. The January FOMC key level there comes down, rallies through it, eventually holds it here. Here's the March, pulls back and rallies through it. Here is April, pulls back, rallies through it eventually. So that could be a path forward for what we see here. We may get ourselves a new FOMC key level. Perhaps we see a bit of weakness away from that level on inflation fears, and then from there perhaps we see some sort of bottoming effect followed by a continuation to new highs. So looking for a very similar pattern here. Again, we have a very narrow session here, a narrow range heading into the RTH Open, just 8.75 points of range today for the ES in overnight and pre-market trading. That's 28% of average. That was expected heading into today's market. We may see further range-bound action with an upward bias. Once we get the FOMC key level, again, the 1 o'clock open price, Central Time, 2 p.m. open Eastern Time, that's going to give us a new key level to watch, and we may see some afternoon movement based on the statement from the FOMC statement. Again, usually the Thursday after the FOMC is usually the bigger day. Followed by what could be more weakness, and then perhaps a continuation higher from there. So we'll see how it plays out, but all eyes on the Fed later on this afternoon. If we take a look here at the NQ, very similar price action, only even more narrow against its average. Just 19% of average range right now, trading 32.75 points of range. Still trending up, still holding near these highs. Again, the last time we got the FOMC here, which was in April, late April, price pulled back quite a bit until we found a decent low, and we've now rallied back to it and through it. Again, that could be a similar path forward here for the NQ moving forward. We may get the release of the information here later on, and we may see some sort of pullback based off of that, followed by a continuation higher heading into the end of next month. So we'll see how it plays out here once that data comes out later on this afternoon. If we take a look here at crude oil has continued to push to new highs today, getting 72.83. It has now reached a couple of key levels here based off of not only extensions for the month but also key levels. So here is your key range high. It broke through it here, your 25% extension, and it just reached the 50% extension at 72.35. That's one of the levels we talked about earlier this week. Monday, we also talked about the potential to see 76.72 down the road, which is the 100% extension. Again, based off of this increased strength here, we may see a pullback that could be defended for a continuation towards 76.72 down the road. Again, any pullback right here could be a buying opportunity over the next several days should we see some sort of pullback from this range. Again, as long as it remains above 66s, 67s, any pullback that deep could still lead to a continuation toward new highs. If we take a look lastly at gold futures here, you'll notice gold is up a bit here today, about 0.2%, although it's hanging near the bottom of the recent pullback here. We're still sitting just above that 840 previous month's midpoint. Previous month's high is here, and that's been the range for the month, that upper half of last month's range. Overall, we still continue to hold near the lower half of the range here. We may need to see a little bit more of a rejection here before we bounce higher. No real signs of rejection just yet. But clearly this market right now in a wait and see mode, as it has been a double inside day developing here heading into the rest of the session. Again, one way or another here, that 840 level is going to be significant. If we come down and bounce off that level, it could lead to a return back toward 1900. A failure to hold that level could open up a move of the same magnitude back toward the previous month's low. So watching very closely how it plays off 1840 moving forward. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.